Hello. Unfortunately, no inspiration. We're getting straight into this because I'm like an hour and 15 minutes late and I don't have all day. I've got other things to do later on this afternoon. And I did consider not doing a stream this week, but I decided against that. I wanted to try and maintain at least one show per week. Now, unfortunately, the Mongrel Corps didn't get run because I didn't have the time to do it. So, yeah. Been a pretty busy week for me, between real life stuff and stuff going on in Mongrel Squad. But, let's get cracking straight into this. I wouldn't say a quick stream's a good stream, but yeah, let's get straight into this. So the first bit of content that we're reacting to, guys, is a Spectrum post. And I feel pretty strongly about this one. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is one of those situations that CIG should not have walked back on. Especially after they fix some stuff. So here we go. 1 hour and 38 minutes is the title. That's how long you have to wait for your carrack after a 30k right now. Yes, I have other ships to fly. No telling people to solely use smaller ships is not a solution. No, this is not even remotely how we should be playing for the long foreseeable future. If people are salvaging their own ships just to get into salvaging gameplay or to make easy money, you need to offer more interesting and generally more available salvaging gameplay elsewhere. Who the fuck cares that the carrack takes that long to fucking claim? Obviously we got this one guy here, but why the fuck does that matter? Like, the whole point about salvaging is irrelevant in regards to this. CIG increased the claim times. Whatever reason they did it for is entirely on them. This is gonna happen. And you're just gonna have to learn to deal with it. This is just going to happen eventually. Like, them doing it now may not seem like a big deal to some people. It seems like a big deal to a lot more people. If you're concerned about your time being wasted playing an alpha, you probably shouldn't be playing an alpha, because that's what we're all playing. An alpha game. If that time bothers you for how long it takes to claim your carrack, don't use it. But it's even disingenuous because they don't stipulate that that's just the regular claim time. That's the regular claim time, not the expedited one. Now, the expedited one is 30 minutes. But once again, why the fuck does it matter that a carrack takes that long to claim? We'd be fine if our ships didn't blow up coming out of the hangar. Guess what? That wasn't happening when this post was made. All that started happening afterwards. You know what CIG put in between when this post was made on the 25th of May and now? They re-enabled 30k protection. So you're not even having to worry about the carrack taking an hour and 38 minutes, which is fucking disingenuous because everybody would just expedite the claim. After the 30k, it would be back at their fucking home port. Like, this mentality here about whinging about everything that CIG changes the moment that they change something is the reason why Elite Dangerous went to shit. The moment CIG changes something and everybody sits there and starts flipping their shit because it makes it a little bit more difficult to play. That's what happened in Elite Dangerous. When they changed something that made it more difficult to play, players flipped their shit, the devs listened, and they retracted. Okay, why the fuck do you need to use your carrack? Exactly, Warhead. Carrick equals no gameplay loop currently. The most that you can do with it is fucking... Well, actually, no. There's a few things that you can do with it. You can take it out on tour and look at the fucking sunsets on all the different moons. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. But, you know, could do that on a plethora of other ships too. Transport ground vehicles. Well, you could do it on other ships. And if you own a Carrick, chances are you own a whole bunch of other ships that are probably capable of doing that too. You're looking at doing cargo hauling, Carrick's not exactly the best one for that. If you're using it for a mobile spawn point, maybe. But that's the thing, is like, this post isn't about the fucking Carrick taking that long to bloody claim. Or that insurance claimers have been increased. It's about somebody seeing CIG increase the difficulty or the consequences and not wanting that to happen. Yeah, using it as a mobile spawn point for bunkers. But even then, like, the AI are fucking retarded most of the time. You're more likely to die to a bug than you are to the AI. But yeah, we got 30k protection between when this post was made and now, which for me it's the 2nd of June. So within a week of that post being made, we got 30k protection back. Did we get the increased claim timers back? No. Because CIG folded like cheap origami on this. You know, Xylo's here trying to do damage control. Let's start with... I think this is... Where are we? Let's review the rest of the replies and we'll get it to start from the start again. The team is aware and diligently working through reducing these times, which will soon roll out in Alpha 3.19.1. The next round isn't as simple as a reversion or total percentage decrease. The team is reducing times for all ships, but the percentage change will vary per vehicle with a heavy impact on larger vehicles. Really? This is literally what they did to get to these first claim timers. That's all they did. Like, if we look... Actually, I've got it. One sec. Got it here. This is an image from a Reddit post that I pulled. These are the claim timers for 3.19. The majority of the ones that take a long time are all larger ships. So the 890 jump and the Anvil Carrick. Fucking the 890 jump takes nearly 3 hours on a regular claim and nearly an hour on an expedited claim. Why didn't old mate pull that one up? Probably because he doesn't own an 890 jump. Probably because it's not about the amount of time that it takes to fucking, you know, for these ships to come back. It's because they don't want to deal with the consequences of using their ships like fucking disposable cups. Like, that's it. Like, the majority of players, the way that they treat their ships is like they're disposable. They're not treated like they're important. You will see this when you fly around in game and there are just ships littering outposts. And CIG isn't doing anything to fix that. What they're trying to do is encourage players to hopefully treat their ships as though, oh shit, I want to get back to my ship as quickly as possible. But, you know, like, the whole 30k thing, like, we've been dealing with 30ks for years. They're going to keep coming back. The 30k protection will work for a bit and then it'll break, and it'll work for a bit and then it'll break. Just learn to fucking deal with it. That's the problem that we've got in this community, is that people are sitting there and they keep complaining as soon as any sort of consequences get put on them. Yeah, 30k suck. It happens to everyone. You're just gonna have to learn to deal with it. If your time is that precious to you that you wouldn't want to fucking have it wasted by having to wait for your ship, don't play this game until it's further along in its development. Anyone complaining about their time being wasted in Star Citizen is an idiot. You're playing a game that's in alpha that's still being developed. It's full of bugs. It's going to break. Things are going to break. If you don't like your time being wasted, don't play a buggy, broken game that's still being developed. It's as simple as that. And yes, using smaller ships is a solution. You should be using ships that are fit for the job. Unfortunately, the character doesn't have a lot of bloody good use cases. Not for the size of the ship that you're using. It's also missing a whole bunch of its features. Server status, I wouldn't even worry about that. Like, it's a range of problems that people are always going to have, and they're always going to complain, and you know, that's on them if they want to have a whinge about it. But I don't like how fucking CIG backflips so quickly, especially on something like this. This should be, you know, CIG should just, you know, go, well, we just fixed 30k protection, yeah, deal with it. What's happening? You know, like, this is happening, deal with it. But instead, you know, because this is happening during Invictus Week and they want people to spend their fucking money, they're not going to sit there and do that. And he just fucking copy pasted there. Actually, he posted that there, then edited his previous message, so it was higher at the top. It's the last one. Probably nested in these replies, is it? No. Where the fuck is it? Did he delete it? Oh no, here we go. There it is. So this is on the 27th, so 2 days after this post was made. The team is now analysing the ships according to a variety of different criteria, which in turn dictate how long it would generally take for the systemic economy to produce a new vehicle when lost, and thus how much time and expense the insurance system should levy. Those base values are then scaled down, and some ship parameters are given a bit extra weight, such as larger vehicles, which will see a larger timer reduction. Given the current state of the game, and so that we get the gameplay experience we want. The thing is that CIG is following the, you know, the game design intent that they've wanted for years. Like, literally, Xylo just described what Chris Roberts said that he wants insurance to work for ships. Which is, ships aren't bloody an infinite commodity, even though technically they could be. New ships that you reclaim take time to be replaced. And it's based on available resources to produce that ship. And the larger the ship that you're dealing with, the longer the claim time takes. And cracks, yeah, like, you know, I 100% agree. Like, it sucks that the 30Ks were more and we lost ship, you know, 30k recovery, but there was a time, there was so many more patches where we didn't have 30k recovery. It was like, you 30k, that was it, done. Deal with it. You lost your cargo, you lost your ships, reclaim, move on. Like, it's just like the whole claim times and all that sort of stuff, and this guy having a whinge about that isn't the issue that I see here. It's that CIG's introduced a change that, you know, regardless if it was a 30k, because 30ks aren't always going to happen. You're going to lose your ship to other shit. That players are always pushing to try and reduce consequences on themselves. It's like, oh, you know, I can't be bothered going to retrieve my character, so I'm just going to claim it. Oh shit, it's going to take me, you know, 98 minutes to claim if I don't want to pay, you know, like 15,000 credits. Or it could be more, I don't know. You know, go retrieve your fucking ship then. It'll take you less time to retrieve your ship than it will to bloody claim it. You know, pretty hard to do it with 30ks, but they've reintroduced 30k recovery again, so don't need to worry about that now. Yeah, CIG folding like cheap origami. You know, players complain. It apparently just needs to be enough players complaining. 340 for this one. 340 players going, yeah, I don't like these changes. And going, yeah, CIG goes, oh shit, we better, you know, change all the values. Dial it back. I just like to see CIG just sit there and go, deal with it. You know, this is a problem that everybody's going to have to learn to deal with. We're putting it in now. 30k recovery, yeah, it sucks. Ships blowing up when you fly out of a hangar, yeah, it sucks. Guess what? It's also alpha. You know, take a break from the game. Wait until we've gotten around to fixing it. Row a spine, yeah. Row a spine, CIG. That said, there are times where they do need to backflip. One of them being the most recent fucking increase in prices for ships on the store. They didn't announce that it was going to happen. And they made, what was it? They made the Cutlass Black to Nova CCU pointless. Because they increased the price of the Cutlass Black to the discounted price of what the Nova was. So Cutlass Black used to be 110. They increased it, correction, $100. They increased it to 110. The CCU for the Nova, the discounted one, was taken down from 120 to 110. So a lot of people bought a, you know, CCU from a Black, which was 100, to a Nova, which is 110, to save themselves $10. Catch you later, Nelson. But yeah, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, there's times where CIG needs to backflip, and there's other times where they're just like, no, deal with it. And once they fix the game, we're going to be waiting, you know, years for that. Like, CIG needs to start pushing on certain things. It's like, alright, there's going to be consequences now. Yeah, 30k recovery is broken, but, you know, once it's fixed, you know, these timers will be near irrelevant to you guys. And if they may increase these insurance timers to address people, you know, trying to do insurance fraud, then, you know, they should dig their heels on it and go, well, we don't want players making their credits that way. CIG needs more devs, 100% online. Welcome, by the way. That's alright, Nelson. Yeah, like, with this problem that, you know, players are complaining about, it's that they're complaining about the consequences of actions, because 30ks get addressed, you end up with bloody, you know, players going, all right, well, I got 30k protection and 30ks aren't as frequent and my ship's not blowing up, you know, leaving the hangars, which, you know, was resolved in a couple of weeks. The hangar issue is still present, but I imagine that'll be resolved soon. But then the insurance claim timers persist until the next patch and the patch afterwards. You know, those timers don't need to be changed, or COG doesn't have the capacity to change them again. So you see what we see when we're flying around looking for targets of pirate. Bloody, you know, dozens of ships just laying around like they're garbage. We've already got an issue with the AI leaving bloody ships laying around, blowing up and all that sort of stuff. Generating additional server load. Now we've got players, you know, who treat their ships as disposable cups. They just leave it laying around. You know, COG is going to have to, and this is one of the things that a lot of players in this community don't understand, COG is going to start shaping their behavior through consequences like this. Insurance claim timers are just one angle that they can attack you from. Another one will be, you know, like abandoning a ship. Like there's nothing wrong with it. What happened? Why haven't you gone back to claim it? Why has it been there for the past couple of days? You know, hangar fees, charging players for the amount, you know, for landing at different zones. I'm surprised that CIG hasn't introduced taxes, you know, trade tax, or the mining taxes. You know, taxes so that they can, you know, create those money sinks that players need to encourage them to continue, you know, grinding. Because that's what it is. Like, right now, it's just all about making the numbers in your wallet get bigger. Yeah, for someone who, yeah, online, 100%, man, like, that's what I really want to see happen too, is, you know, finding these derelict ships, fixing them back up, and then using them. Like that, all there is a gameplay loop. Imagine when we get the ability to sell ships in game as well. You know, you'd be looking for those derelicts that are in good enough condition that you can fix it up, put it back together, and then take it to, you know, the shop to sell. And you're 100% right, Terrence. Like, the players would have just learned to deal with it. You know, they would have just gone, oh shit, you know, like, I guess this is a thing now. Oh, 30k recovery got fixed. Oh, well, it's not that bad. At the end of the day, though, like, it's on CIG. Like, if they keep backflipping to capitulate to players when they make decisions, especially when it comes to consequences of actions, because there's certain things that CIG, you know, when they made decisions and tried to dig their heels in, everybody's like, really? Like the fucking Valkyrie, for example, and the cargo grid, where they tried to sit there and go, oh yeah, but it's a vehicle grid, but I can't fit cargo. And it's like, if it's a military orientated ship, I'll tell you right fucking now that there would be a general sitting there going, why can I not strap cargo to the grid? And they would turn around and go, this ship is not fit for purpose, put a cargo grid in it. Online, no. I have no idea why they increased the claim timers. That's just it. Like, it's a theory that people came up with, that it was to address salvaging. May help to explain the vision instead of hiding behind the curtain. Yeah. Like, Xylo's kind of done it here. Like, this part here that I read out earlier, where lost, you know, new vehicles, the time and the value that it costs is based on the materials that it takes to procure it. So that's them talking about, you know, something that Chris Roberts has talked about in 10 for Chairman years ago. But, you know, like, once again, this is, you know, it's a problem I have with CIG's communication when it comes to their patch notes. There's shit that they add to their patch notes that they don't communicate clearly enough. It's like, okay, we're increasing the insurance timers. Why? And, you know, is it just somebody punching in whatever number and they're just like, all right, well, how much should a carrick fucking take to bloody claim? Let's just make it an hour and a half. You know, like, but an hour and 38 minutes is a pretty specific, you know, amount of time. So there's obviously some more thought put into it. But I can tell you now, the majority of the player base don't know about this. You know, like that your ship claims are supposed to be based on resource availability. Like, you have to be like really into Star Citizen and watched a lot of the content to, you know about it in the first place. Remembering it is another thing. But, you know, that's all on CIG really. That's on CIG. Yeah, this pisses me off. You know, it's not as big as a deal as what this guy's making out. I own a carrick, but I own a plethora of other ships too. The majority of the time when I'm using my ships, I'm rarely using the larger ones. I'm normally using the smaller ones because the smaller ones are better fit for the purpose of what I do. And if one of those ships is, you know, fucked, then I claim it and deal with how long it takes, and I pay the extra credits for the expedite, you know, to expedite it, because it's a money sink. It's supposed to be. Well, Lamington, that goes back to the conversation that we're having with regards to, you know, ship availability, because Lamington and I had this conversation. And we're talking about, you know, like the storage of ships and delivery of ships. You know, like a pretty common practice, and I'm going to say every player does it, is that if they've spawned their ship at one station and they've traveled to another one in a different ship and they go, oh shit, I want the other one that's back at my old station, I'll just reclaim it. Now, there's a problem with that, because, you know, players are just sitting there going, well, it's my ship, but based on what, you know, Xylo's talking about here, you've just reclaimed that ship, therefore a new one is being delivered as a replacement, right? That shouldn't be the way that it happens. It should be your ship is at a different station and you pay for an NPC to transport your ship from one station to the other. And, you know, I believe CIG actually intends on this being a thing when they've got Quantum up and running. And to be honest, they don't even need to worry about that. Like, for the interim solution, just change the framework about how ships are treated. And just go, alright, if your ship is actually stored somewhere, it's not that you're reclaiming it, it's that you're having it delivered. And the speed of the delivery is based on the quantum drive you have installed on that ship, plus a little bit of extra on either side. Now, one of the things that CIG would need to account for is if somebody's tried, you know, putting cargo on that ship and they've traveled somewhere in a different ship, you know, one that's faster with no cargo on it, and they're going, oh yeah, I want my M2 delivered from bloody Hurston to Orison so that I don't have to fly it. Well, the delivery fee should be a lot higher. You know, make the delivery fee the price that the profit margin would cost, so that players sit there and go, oh shit, it's not worth it. Same with mining. That's something that CIG needs to look at, you know, to try and start reshaping players' thought process on how they treat their ships. Yeah, I know what you mean, side effects. That's why I put forward the suggestion. It's like, just make it that it costs them the profit margin. You know, so cargo that's on board the ship, how much it's, you know, how much they would have paid for it, how much it would sell at the location that they're at, if they can sell it. And then go, alright, it's all part of the danger fee, and you're paying for escorts and, you know, security, so that if your ship did get attacked, because when you're supposed to have your ship delivered in Quantum, or when Quanta comes about, there's always a possibility that your ship gets attacked. And they just treat it as though, alright, you paid for more than enough security to deter every single pirate in existence from wanting to attack your ship, and that just happens to coincide with a profit margin that you would make. So you would make nothing. Like, you should probably check to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I've heard some people are actually getting unsubscribed from Mongrel Squad's YouTube channel. That, you know, like, CIG has to work towards shaping players' expectations so that they learn that consequences are a thing and that they can't just treat their ships as though they're disposable cups. And then, you know, like, just move forward from there. See, we didn't even touch prison, Blake. We didn't even talk about the prison timers. Or anything like that. Like, I just focused on this. And it's because, you know, players don't want to deal with consequences. And they'll instantly go, oh, I don't want to deal with these consequences. It's too long. It's too much. I don't have enough time. Well, don't fucking play Star Citizen if you don't have the time. It's as simple as that. Anyway. Starting to go around in circles, so we're going to start moving towards the next bit of content. They want you to pay a lot, yeah, or you should have to pay a lot for more security in general. Yeah, like, that's why I think, you know, like, for traders, for miners, they should be paying taxes when they make sales, because, you know, the corporations, their businesses, they're going to try and, you know, squeeze every dollar out of you. So them charging you taxes are like, oh yeah, it's for security forces to help assist you. Oh, you know, John, lots of people want to do that, mate. Lots of people want to be security. Lots of people want to offer those services. The thing is that those who, you know, should be using them don't want to, because they don't want to cut into their fucking little bloody wallets because the number doesn't go up as fast. It'd be cool if they tax the armistice trade routes but not the non-armistice ones. That's actually a really good idea, Side Effects. You should make a Spectrum post about it. Talk about the concept of, you know, trade routes being patrolled versus non-patrolled trade routes. And, you know, if you're on a patrolled trade route and you get pirated, you've got, you know, a higher chance of security responding than if you're trying to dodge the patrolled, you know, dodge the pirates by going the unpatrolled trade routes. Yeah, Stony, 100%. And you know what's, this is once again where CIG just needs to dig their heels in and go, fucking deal with it, man. You know, like, welcome to the cost of operating as a hauler. Alright. I don't know how many of you guys have watched the latest Inside Star Citizen, but I have not. I've been busy pretty much all morning. So, I'm going to watch it with you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to... there we go. So it's Inside Star Citizen. I'll get the link for yous. We haven't watched it yet. We're watching it here and reacting to it. It's interesting. It's going to be about Arena Commander, which has been in desperate need of some attention. So let's watch Inside Star Citizen Arena Reborn Part 1.
Earlier this year, we introduced you to the Arena Commander feature team, newly created with some familiar and friendly faces.
The fuck is this? Where the fuck is he? He's got that bloody set piece that he made of the partial interior of a Constellation Phoenix, and he's put himself between, what was it, like 6 pot plants in a sim pit. Oh, this might actually be at one of the Turbulent offices. Because I remember that on Twitter, Benoit put together a sim pit, and it was like his little pride and joy. So this could be at a Turbulent office. See, I'm not as angry about this as I am about that bloody set piece. Was it the only constant? Just trying to do the Between Two Ferns podcast. I don't think he's got the same dry humor as was it Zach Galifianakis? And his humor is not dry enough for it.
To take the long-ignored dogfight module and bring it up to date with today's advances in the persistent universe, as well as see if we can't restore some of that feature and technology testbed intention from its earliest incarnations. And the very first parts of those labors are currently scheduled to arrive in the upcoming Alpha 320 in the biggest update Arena Commander has seen since it was first introduced.
Is it an Ages branded gaming chair? It looks like it. And it was probably a custom job. I reckon probably Monster Tech chairs. Monster Tech probably would have done this.
So let's throw it now to Duncan and Sam as they represent some of the work their team's been up to in the first of 2 back-to-back episodes we're calling Arena Commander, Air, Space, and Racing, followed by Foot, Tonk, and Testing, Part 1, the first half. If that's not all there on the thumbnail, I got overruled.
Arena Commander is this game within a game, which lets us take these super fun, awesome moments that we've all experienced in the PU and get them down into this short, fun snippet of 10, 15 minutes, hop in, hop out.
I think the most fun about Arena Commander is that you get to just jump in and play the game that you want to play. You don't have to spend time collecting all the stuff that you need to go out. You just pick a thing and you start playing it.
It lets people get down and dirty without the repercussions that you experience.
Methanol, if you want a Drake one, just go buy one of those cheap black folding chairs. Don't buy it new though. Make sure you get a second-hand one. And then just grab a Sharpie and just write Drake on it and you're done. Cost you a couple of bucks. Just make sure it's slightly rusty as well.
Experience in the PU.
Is it possible for Arena Commander to help the development of Star Citizen?
Yes, it can be used for testing things that aren't quite in the PU yet, but will be soon. And it can be used for testing things that are already in the PU.
As we get closer and closer to Death of a Spaceman, it becomes
side effects. I've seen that too. It's pretty funny.
Everyone's time in Star Citizen, be it you just want to practice your flight controls, you want to practice racing, you want to get better at dogfighting or FPS combat, you should be looking at Arena Commander to practice these things so that you don't lose everything when you do it in the PU. Last time on ISC, we talked about all the things that we wanted to do and we were currently working on. The whole laying the foundations idea that we just needed to hunker down and get these refactors done so that we can start working on some amazing content which we have lined up. Now I'm glad to be in ISC again to talk about that content which we have been working on since. Before we get started, I want to shout out the team. I've got a list here so I don't forget anyone. We've got Adam, Adrian, Bryn, Corwin, Kirk, Mark, Ricky, Samuel, Sean, hi Sean, and Simon, all working extremely hard, and everyone else and all
Hi,
the other
Sean.
teams that have been extremely helpful in helping us get to where we are today. So let's take you through the flow from the beginning to the end. So the front end, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, multiple screens, an absolute pain to get through. We want to clean up that experience, get rid of all this flash clunkiness and unnecessary wait times between screens.
With the new front end, we've consolidated everything essentially into one place for everything that you want to do.
The first
At that. Yeah, exactly, Stony. If they work, that's the kicker. If they work. No, I'm just looking at this. It's like, it seems like somebody has actually been paying attention to their user experience bloody lessons, and they're actually going, all right, we want to put everything that a player would find relevant or desirable in front of them right there without having to go through more than one screen. What I'm interested to see now is if they follow UI principles and they try and keep accessing different components to less than 3 clicks. Does AC have a ranked ladder? Yes. That said though, I wouldn't worry about that because the way that it's set up is it's a point-based system that also utilizes playtime that can be gamed really easily. Yeah. We need to decrease the amounts of clicks on screens. And yes, the ASOP terminal should look like this toe cutter. Alright, let's keep watching. I just like this. I like all of it. Bit basic in terms of like color schemes and things like that, but based on what we've had in the past, this is like a huge improvement, and I'm willing to work with this for years while CIG works on other components, as long as this all works. That's the kicker. It has to work.
first thing you'll see is Star Marine and Arena Commander have merged together in a single nice clean interface.
What the fuck?
You can play any FPS
What
game
the
mode, any
fuck was
dogfight.
that?
Single nice clean interface.
No. What is this shit? What are you doing? Look, they're hiding something. What is that they're hiding? It's probably Theaters of War. Actually, I don't think it's Theaters of War. Based on the text that's there, it's probably something else. But yeah, like, what the fuck is this? Huge ass buttons and screens? No. You literally had a drop down menu. Didn't you? Game type, online. Make it a drop down menu and then have the little fucking UI pop up there. Why? Why this? We don't need this big thing in our face. Fucking hell. That. It's a roller coaster emotion. We just went from something that I was like, yeah, this looks really good, and then fucking within 5 seconds, they fuck it.
That you want to do.
The first thing you'll see is Star Marine and Arena Commander have merged together in a single nice clean interface.
You can play any
That
FPS
is
game
not
mode, any
clean
dogfighting game
or
mode,
nice.
whatever you want, essentially. It's all in that one place.
So we've taken a more diegetic approach. We've got a better 3D representation of pretty much everything. We've got a 3D representation of the ship or loadout that you've got.
You know how I'd do it, cracks? This thing here, online, let me guess, there's going to be 2 modes, online and offline. So that shouldn't even be a fucking drop down menu, that should just be a switch. online, offline. This drop-down menu, I'd probably put it down here so that it covers over the lobby shit, because you don't need to see the lobby stuff all the time until you've chosen your game mode. Have your drop-down menu here. This card here is contextualized so that as you hover over each of the game modes in the drop-down menu, the card updates with its pretty little picture. Sorted. Man, not happy. CIG.
Place for everything that you want to do.
The first
Got
thing
so
you'll see
much promise.
is Star Marine and Arena Commander have merged together in a single nice clean interface.
You can play any FPS game mode, any dogfighting game mode, whatever you want, essentially. It's all in that one place.
So we've taken a more diegetic approach. We've got a better 3D representation of pretty much everything. We've got a 3D representation of the ship or loadout that you've got selected, and more layers upon this, what was originally a 2D
Holy shit.
UI. We've got a 3D representation of the ship or loadout that you've got selected, and
Right here. See that? Look at the maps. Right there. All the maps there in a menu. That's how the game mode should be. And you know what you could do? And they probably, I don't know why they wouldn't, just change the background to represent the map that you're choosing. So guess what? The background is contextualized based on the map that you're using. This little fucking window thing here can be contextualized based on the game mode you choose. And the game type, online or offline, unless they've got like several planned, which I'm pretty sure they're not, considering it's either online and the opposite would be offline, can just be a switch. Just make it a switch. That's it. Done. The more clickables, the more that they can break. Yeah, exactly, Stoney. Need to break as much stuff as possible. User experience needs to be as painful as possible.
More layers upon this, what was originally a 2D UI, very flat. We want to bring it in line with the diegetic approach that we have across all of Star Citizen and unify it. So patch notes are now included in the game, so you have quick and easy access to see everything that's changed about Arena Commander in detail since the last patch. We're also excited to say that we're working on widescreen support. It's still a work in progress and we're hoping to get it in for this release, but I wanted to let everyone know that we're working on that. To the right is social menus, it's friends list, notifications and party, and that takes us into the new lobby system, which we've completely refactored. This new lobby system utilizes the friends and party system, which you all know from Star Citizen and the PU.
So they call this the social stuff. Oh, look, the other game mode type, offline. Lobby. All right, so they're talking about this. The people that are actually in your game. All right. Let's see what they do.
And works in tandem with it rather than separately. You'll be able to invite people straight from your friends list or your party into your Arena Commander lobby or squad. This new lobby system is faster, more reliable, and hopefully be a much better experience than what you're used to.
Okay, so you form a party, you can invite them all to the lobby, which populates the list there. Okay.
And it lets you play with the people you want to play with, get into groups faster and easier than ever before. So once you click launch, you'll go straight into the game, and the first thing you're going to notice is the new spawn screen, which is on almost every mode.
The new spawn screens are our way of essentially making
They took the broken system from the PU and ported it to AC. This is building blocks, man. 100% building blocks. This is interesting here, though, because you've got your ships. So, spawn points, select loadout. This, I'm not going to talk about where I've seen this stuff before. But it's interesting that they've got, this in the waiting screen. Because this implies like you could have different ships there Well, this is implying that you can spawn either as a pilot or as a turret gunner. So these are vanguards, so you could either, join a player ship as a pilot or join as their gunner if they have an empty spot. But there's no context of how, why this is available yet. I'm going to listen in a bit and see what they have to say.
If you click launch, you'll go straight into the game, and the first thing you're going to notice is the new spawn screen, which is on almost every mod.
The new spawn screens are our way of essentially making sure that once you're in game, you can do things that you couldn't do before in the Arena Commander. You'll be able to change your ship, you'll be able to change your loadout in game. All of these things are going to be things that you can do with the new spawn screen. It's the way that you can see the battlefield from above without having to actually get into the game. It's essentially our way of making sure that the player knows everything they need to know before they start shooting.
So what's great about this new spawn screen, among many things, it finally lets us bring multi-crew to Arena Commander. You'll be able to party up with friends and join their ships in free flight, both swarm modes and squadron battles.
You can just click on their ship and just jump straight into it. No longer do you have to awkwardly park next to each other and then get into the other player's ship. You can just spawn directly into the turret of that person's vehicle.
So for now, for these combat modes, you'll be locked into your seat, but I'm personally super excited for eventually having engineering gameplay also in Arena Commander and laying the foundations with this spawn screen. It leads into that. And this is
This is where they just need to create a simulation mode that is just like Arena Commander and Star Marine put together. Like, this is actually something that players really, we've been asking for years. Just being able to set ourselves up in Arena Commander and run quick matches. Where we can do shipboardings and things like that. Hey, Tumblr. Comes a Ram Cuddy Blue merging practice. Yeah. Well, that's just it. And the maps, from what I heard, there's atmospheric maps as well. So the practicing, that you do in Arena Commander will be a lot more helpful. Wonder if we can crew a Hammerhead. 100%. I'm doing all right, man. Busy. Being busy a lot. Busy. I'm just looking at this and, as a training tool, for all organizations that are looking at their combat loops, just the importance of being able to quickly, cycle the game map. Somebody crashes in the PU, you got to wait, 5 to 10 minutes for them to get back. Whereas in Arena Commander, it's like, bam, they're back. Bit disappointed to hear that they're locking us to the seats. Kind of understandable, but, I'm pretty sure COG knows that once we're not locked to the seats anymore, the next thing we're all going to ask for is let us choose our loadouts. Yeah, no more forced into yeah, exactly, man. I'm just looking forward to having other maps. For the longest time, we've just had 2. Actually, we also had, what was it? Can't remember what the Capture the Core map was. It was kind of like Broken Moon. But not quite. But one of the things that I look forward to being able to do in Arena Commander is getting the larger ships together, and practicing tactics with those. Getting hammerheads together and just duking it out. And then, having extra people on the hammerhead so that you can then, once you've disabled that hammerhead, your next objective is to, bloody go board it. And things like that. I hope they actually keep Dying Star and they open up the interior of the station that's there so that you can go in there and do FPS shit. Yes, we do need private lobbies. I'm pretty sure that in the menus I actually had the option.
This is just the first step. We're excited to eventually work on engineering and combined arms gameplay for these modes as well.
There you go. Work faster. Fucking work faster.
So let's start looking at maps, new and old, starting with the New Horizon Speedway. So the whole New Horizon Speedway has been moved to Green, the third planet of the Ellis system.
For New Horizon Speedway, we now have our own entire planet just for Arena Commander. It has its own atmospherics. It's a fully fledged planet, essentially, which we've worked with the planet team on. We have our own biomes, it even has beaches, although you may not win the race if you do try and see them.
And this represents the first time that we have real atmospheric racing in Arena Commander, but be careful, we're still experimenting with wind and weather, but it's too early to say exactly where it's going to land. So the New Horizon Speedway now has 4 tracks, starting with Rickard Memorial Raceway. It's the least unchanged of the bunch. It played pretty well, we thought. We added more checkpoints, and that's just about it for Rickard. Moving on to Old Vanderval, it's the easiest, shortest of all the tracks. We've cleaned up some of the cheeky little shortcuts that you guys found, and that big dive in the middle of the map where you go right down in between all these buildings, we've expanded that across, and you now curve all the way around a giant pillar in this large curved dive now, which we feel is a really good place for that map. It's still the shortest of all the tracks, but it'll seem longer due to atmospheric flight. Next is Defford Link. It's the longest and hardest of all the tracks, and it's a complete rework from the ground up.
It's kind of designed as a sort of endurance test where you are flying between, obviously, all of the buildings in New Horizon Speedway, but it's not really about those tight corners or heavy, sharp turns. It's about making sure that you don't crash. It's about making sure that you can keep that good race line through the entire map, essentially. Defford is our most difficult map and has been from the beginning and still is now.
It's really a dance with atmosphere with this map. You are going around, zigzagging around buildings, down, corkscrewing around, barrel rolling. My favourite part is the vertical corkscrew and the dive down right at the end before that home stretch back to the finish line. So Halloran Circuit is the 4th edition to the New Horizon Speedway collection. It's primarily inspired by snowboarding. So you're going to see a giant half pipe that expands the entire level, where you're going to have to really test your limits, test your drifting, get those rear engines at the back so you can go down this pipe at the best speeds possible.
When I last played it, it kind of reminded me of bobsleighing, where you basically are riding on each bank using the atmospherics of the plane to basically heavily go between each of the very different buildings and hard turns that are inside of the map.
And we all just think it's really fun.
Alongside this, we also have a few PU race maps that are also coming into Arena Commander.
We've got the Snake Pit, Miner's Lament, Yadar Valley, and Icebreaker. And this is your chance to go in and practice those races risk-free.
In addition to the race maps, we also have several dogfighting maps coming to Arena Commander.
Starting with Jericho Station and Security Post Korea. Jericho Station is the most lightweight of all of these. It's the first PU location that we actually took into Arena Commander, and that is because it is lightweight. There's no planetary bodies around, so it was the easiest for us to get started
It's
with.
literally a station.
It's just a
fucking
beautiful location. You see some nebulas off in the background, and
A station
I
and
don't know
some,
about you, but I've been there a lot
guns.
with Sino for it, so it's a familiar battleground for me.
Essentially allows you to playtest fighting other people and AI around that station in Arena Commander, like you were just in the PU doing it instead. It's once again another way of having that risk-free practice, as well as providing the players finally a much more open and less cluttered dogfighting map in Arena Commander.
It also let us address some of the feedback that we got from the community and developers alike, that we needed an arena which was clear of debris and just very lightweight, high performance for people to dogfight and blow up.
With the inclusion of Security Post Korea, it means we also have a map now which has turrets. We can essentially use those turrets to add more to the gameplay whilst you're fighting amongst yourselves and against other AI. It gives us the ability to add new modes which use those turrets more effectively. So you're not just fighting against players, you're fighting against the map itself.
So you're probably asking yourself, why these 2 locations out of everything in the verse? It's because we had to start somewhere, and Jericho Station, it's the simplest of all the locations in the PU. There's no planetary bodies. It had nebulas that we had to bring in, but otherwise pretty simple. And with everything that we take from the PU, it's to address these challenges. We want to overcome these, so right now it's not a simple copy-paste job, but hopefully in the future this pipeline that we've made is a lot faster, and we can get a lot more maps from the PU, and this is just a start. And the last dogfighting map, which I'm super excited to talk about, is we finally have a dogfighting map in Atmosphere.
New Horizon Arena is based on the very map that we've put all of those race ships into, but instead of just speeding around it trying to get the best time, instead you're going to be fighting amongst yourselves in Atmosphere, finally.
I know you've been asking for this for so long. Fighting in Atmosphere, as you know, brings unique challenges. It's a lot higher skill ceiling, and it's where most of the fights happen in the PU, so bringing atmospheric dogfighting into Arena Commander was an important step for us. As far as game modes that can be played here, it's all of them, and we're excited to see how players handle it.
You'll be able to do every single dogfighting mode available.
You can play Pirate Swarm, Vandal Swarm, Squadron Battle, Duel, and Battle Royale. So talking about Pirate Swarm, we've also got an update coming for that. This update includes a new final boss wave. You're now going to be experiencing a capital battle between pirates and UEE, and you're stuck in the middle. So as you get to that 10th wave, the pirate fleet warp in. It consists of 2 hammerheads, 4 cutlass blacks, 6 gladiuses, and a pirate Idris. And your objective here is to simply survive. So as those pirates come in, the UEE also send in 2 F8 Lightnings to come and help you. Those F8s inform you that a UE fleet is on their way to help you, but you have to survive those 2 minutes for them to reach you in time. Once the timer ends, a UE fleet consisting of 8 additional F8 Lightnings, 6 Gladiuses, and 2 Javelins come out of warp and start pummeling in to that pirate fleet and helping you towards victory. This update comes with a new Spectrum badge, so you've got a couple more weeks to get the old one before that gets switched out. Those rewards are only obtainable in multiplayer, so make sure you hop into multiplayer before the update so you can get that Pirate Aggressor badge. With the new version, we're introducing a new badge that you'll be able to get starting from the release. So there's also duel mode. It's a 1v1 dogfighting mode. Previously would kill your enemy and just continue on. Now we've added rounds. So after you get that kill, you're going to respawn, fully equipped, rearmed, ready for the next fight. And don't worry, I've got you. We're working on leaderboards. It'll take a little bit extra time, but we'll get there. And the last of our mode updates is something called experimental modes, but we're going to touch on that a bit more next week. So there's a few more additions coming to Arena Commander, including the Def Cam and Def Recap. You'll be able to view the action after you die rather than it point to the ground.
We'll scroll that back in a second. Do I have the Pirate Gladius? No. I don't think I have it available to buy. I never really cared. I looked at it and went, it's just a red-skinned Gladius.
A bit more next week. So there's a few more additions coming to Arena Commander, including the Def Cam and Def Recap. You'll be able to view the action after you die rather than it point to the ground. This new Def camera will point out your opponent rather than being this static camera that just zooms off into the abyss. It recaps everything that you did in that life, so damage you dealt to enemies, damage you received, and how you died. We're also iterating on the scoreboard, so we're adding right-click options, so you can mute, add friends, add squad up together using the new lobby system.
Tumblr, you know he's not going to fucking do that. Oh. You gotta stick around long enough to be, you know, for the death cam animation to run.
We also fixed that really annoying issue where, you know, your teammates appear in the other team in the scoreboard even though they're not in the actual game, as well as, you know, all the other things that came along with, you know, the round system and stuff that wasn't really cooperating with it. So those are all fixed up now, thankfully. We've also updated scoring, so now the score will change based on the rating of your opponent, so you get more reward if you're killing, you know, the rank 1 player versus someone that's brand new to Arena Commander. Repeatedly killing the same player is going to give you less score to, you know, stop that cheating going on. And if you try to leave a game early, it's going to give you an early leave or punishment.
Good.
So that's just some of the goodies we've got coming with 320 in dogfighting and racing. I'm excited to be returning next week to talk to you about FPS combat and some of the additions we're adding to those modes, as well as experimental modes. Bye. Woo! I'll do the woo again. See you next week.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that true atmospheric flight is coming to Arena Commander for both racing and fighting modes. That locations from the persistent universe are being brought into the simulation to let you test your metal easier than ever before. That this becomes more and more important and valuable as the PU continues to move closer to the death of a spaceman in the future.
Is this like yeah, I haven't had much interaction with Bunton, but I have seen him around. I don't know. I feel like this has probably been one of the better Inside Star Citizens this year. I can't think of any of the other ones where I was like really excited for something. Like these updates to Arena Commander, I'm actually really excited for. And I'm keen as fuck to hear about experimental mode, because what I'm hoping what that means is it's like a opt-in PTU type game mode where you get to test, you know, shit out that CIG's experimenting with, so master modes and shit like that, and be able to provide feedback. But instead of it being something where you just drop in, you're locked into a patch and that's it, it's you drop in, do your stuff, provide the feedback, go back to whatever you want to do. Adjusting PvP sliders soon. Yeah. Yeah, that sim pit doesn't look like it's... I wouldn't say that it's very solid. The construction looks solid, but it doesn't... I don't think it is as solid as it looks. Adjusting PvP sliders soon though. Like somebody, I'm surprised that's not a screenshot getting around on Reddit. Yeah, Tumblr. I'm 100% surprised it's not a screenshot on Reddit. CIG said PvP sliders are coming back. Ah.
And that all of this would already be the biggest update Arena Commander has ever seen, but there's even more stuff coming next week as we look at Star Marine editions, including Tonk Royale and the implementation of experimental modes that aim to return Arena Commander to the feature and technology testbed it was once intended to be. And then back in the PU, I hear there's a jump town going on at the moment. Oh, I sure hope it's safe. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for exploring the process of game development with us, and we'll see you all here next week.
Yay! Oh, there's still more to it.
Should we have moved the plant? That's done. It's time to pwn some noobs.
What the fuck was that movement? Did you guys see that? Holy shit, that chair is like... That chair is not bolted to the ground. Jesus. Calm down, Jared. Tonk Royale, stepping stones to theaters of war? I don't know. Maybe. Or they just like decided that theaters of war isn't worth pushing out anymore and they're just going, you know what, let's just... Because if you think about it, they've got a planet there that they can use for, you know, combat loops, for lack of a better term. You know, a combat planet. All they need to do is just set spawn points in different locations around, you know, areas of the map that they think are interesting and conducive to FPS gameplay, or, you know, vehicle-based gameplay. Just set spawn points there, and then designate that area to be, you know, a selectable map. And then you go there with the vehicles that you chose to spawn. Done. Blake, it was just... Theaters of War was just the promise of more engaging gameplay in a shorter loop that players really wanted. 2 scrapyards with a field in between? Yeah, like... Levski. I always wanted to do FPS combat around Levski. Rim Hex could be an FPS map. You know, every single rest stop could be an FPS map. Hell, fucking ships. You know, buddy, the Starfarer. We already do it. Yeah, it's like just a PU, a persistent unit, like a, you know, it's concentrated in one planet, but just somewhere where you can just go, all right, sweet. You know, instead of you having to travel everywhere, it's just button clicks that, you know, simulate the movements of you going from your bed to the ASOP terminal, from the ASOP terminal to your ship, from your ship to where you want to fly to the location that you want to go to have your battle. It's just button clicks that perform those steps. Like, I look at that sort of thing that, yeah, I look at that sort of thing that what CIG could potentially do out of this, and I don't know, like, to me, this is like CIG's locking down their loops, their gameplay loops, their, you know, like modules. Like, I know Nelson's made this prediction. I know there's a few other people that have made the prediction. You know, Squadron 42 is off the store, and CIG's apparently got a price increase coming for it. That's why they've taken it off the store. I've made my prediction before that, you know, Squadron 42 is coming out this year. It probably won't. But, you know, based on the new player experience being added to the persistent universe, these updates coming into Arena Commander now, you know, for Arena Commander and Star Marine. Squadron 42 being in a position where it's, you know, released to the public, I look at that and I'm like, that's a higher possibility now than it ever has been. You know, people are like, oh, but the Polaris isn't ready yet. It's like, okay, then they don't put the fucking Polaris in. They've got other ships that they can use. Yeah, Squadron 42 in 2 more years. Answer the call. What was it? Answer the call 2014, 15, then just answer... No, 15, 16, then just answer the call and then nothing. Yeah, well, that's what I think their experimental mode Tumblr is supposed to be, you know, kind of introduced to the players, is how, what's it called, master modes, how players react to master modes in an environment where they're not committed to pushing those changes in. Although I think they'll still push, you know, master modes onto the player base and just, you know, make minor tweaks. And yeah, the Idris with the interior, Javelin's interior. Like, there's just so much that they could do with it. And the persistent universe, like, you know, could be burning for all the rest of the community cares. You know, a lot of combat-orientated players would be focusing on Arena Commander and getting in there and doing, you know, the different gameplay loops, especially if, and, you know, they said that they're aiming for it, especially if they make it so that, you know, we have, you know, like the Theaters of War, Battlefield / COD-esque, you know, game mode where we can actually, you know, go, all right, we want to practice, you know, tactics. We want to do a shipboarding. So we choose the, you know, space map and we go, all right, this is our target ship. You know, we split into 2 teams. Target ship is this and these are their escorts. This is the attacking team. You know, everybody choose your loadouts. All right, sweet, we're going. And instead of it being in the persistent universe where it takes us, you know, nearly, you know, anywhere from, well, it depends on how well you got your shit together, but even if you got your shit together, it's like 30 minutes still before everybody's in position. You could just do it in a few button clicks and be ready in 5. I'd say that they'll try and go for master modes, probably around what's it called? Probably around CitizenCon. And go, yeah, we talked about this last year, and here it is. We can show you. It's in the experimental mode. But yeah, that's exciting. I really like that Inside Star Citizen. Unfortunately, they're not all like that. I'm, looking forward to next week's one now. I wanna see what they're planning on doing in the FPS side of things. All right. Yeah, we need that new EVA mechanic so bad. The current EVA mechanics is shit. Bloody every time you step off a gravity grid, no scoping, fucking 360 spinning. Where's the ISC on the 32 SCU containers? It's coming soon. It's coming soon. Right. Lots of exciting stuff, guys. Lots of exciting stuff. We're going to keep the ball rolling, keep the ball rolling on this. So the next one, this is just a little short one. I'm surprised though that it hasn't actually got as many views though. We have no ideas, Eric. Like it could be, it might not be. They just haven't said anything. Alright, this is the next little video. It only goes for 30 seconds. It's going to be really quick. But I remember watching this ages ago. I'm pretty sure it was on Reddit. And I wanted to share it with you guys if you haven't watched it yet. So this is the average pirate encounter.
Hey, just got word of C2 on its way to Orison. Let's go.
There he is. A one-sided battle later.
Alright, look, mate. 500k and we'll let you be.
Fucking griefer. CIG banned this guy. You ruined the game. Kill yourself. You'll never be loved.
So no money.
Done. Good on you, man. I fucking love it. Because that's how it is. It's 100% how it is. Well, not anymore. We don't need to ask for their permission. We don't even bother asking. I think there was another one. Ooh, there's one for 318. Do you guys want to watch the 318 one? Let's watch the 318 one. Hold up. Calm down. Slow down, mobhead. Jesus. Let's watch the next one. One more. Okay, so this is a 318 one. Like this guy went to a lot of detail to make the Windows bloody background and all that.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Vehicle selected. Stand by.
What a... Oh no, you're not seeing it. You're not seeing it. Oh, I gotta get rid of some stuff here. Alright, start. Yeah, the stats. No, that's my camera. Actually, no, my camera should go. The background, the game background. There we go. Going back a couple of seconds. You're still waiting. What a loser.
Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
Oh, it's the best pirate ship in the game.
All landing bays are currently full. All landing bays are currently. All landing bays are current. All landing bays are current. All landing bays are current. All land. All land. All land. All land. Proceed to the marked landing bay.
Oh my god. It's the authentic Star Citizen experience. Wait. Where's that 30k screen? Like, that is literally what the 30k screen should say. Just lick nuts. Oh man. Oh, so good. I wonder if they got more. Have they got more? Let me have a look. There's one more. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Calm down! Wait your fucking turn. This one is called Beam Citizen. Where the hell? Where's the this is your landing bay, and then when you land, fucking immediately trespassing. Yeah, that's exactly another thing. All right, here we go. This one is called Beam Citizen, and it is the most recent one, released 3 weeks ago.
Welcome to Beam Citizen, a futuristic game where you can do everything with beams. Got hurt exploring some caves? Heal yourself with a beam. Need to mine some asteroids? Use a beam capable of breaking the toughest minerals. Want to confiscate some cargo off of that hull A? Grab it with a beam. There's a beam for everyone in every situation. Use the referral code below and get your very own beam today.
This one was a bit low effort, but he at least got that there. At least got that one there. I'm going to sub to it on my personal YouTube. I won't use the Mongrel Squad one though. That one's reserved for special subs. This one hasn't reached that yet. But you guys should 100% go and sub to this guy. Mophead. Let me get his channel for you. Yeah, it was a I need to release something video. Yeah, 100% Stony. How many videos has he got? He's only got like, where is it? Here we go. No, that's that one there. There. So, oh, mate's only got like, what's it called? 5? No, more than that. This is a start. So 1, 2, 3. So he's got 7. 7 stars in his videos. Did Voidy get an official Mongrel Squad sub? Yeah, of course he did. You guys want to watch the one on elevators? Let's watch the one on elevators. I'll get the link for you too. Hold on. Fucking slow down, mate. Slow the fuck down. Alright, so this is the elevators one. New bad. Okay, so we're at New Babbage. That is exactly how elevators work in that fucking game. Oh my god. Alright. I'm going to encourage you guys to go watch the rest. Slim Jim. I've had merch for ages, mate. There's a link in the description for the store. Just store. Thank you. I wear it because we've raised the red flag, so I wear a red cap now. Hides the big brain. No, I wouldn't say it hides the big brain, I'd say it hides the bloody thick skull. Alrighty. Alright. We're gonna get close to wrapping this stream up, guys, because I've got things to do in about an hour's time. So we'll watch the last bit of content. We got a bit sidetracked, but those little shorts were really good. Go subscribe to Mophead. Bloody cat. Almost stepped on a cat. Alright, so the next video. This video is about the insurance claim thing. So this guy got 32,000 views because he shared this insurance feature, as he calls it. We're gonna come over to here, we're gonna go music off, and we're just gonna play this. I haven't watched this video all the way through. Yeah, that's just it. Like, it's new to them. I know we encountered this a while back, but I don't think anybody really spent the time investigating it to the point where people considered it a feature. But so many people, after this video was released, man, so many people are like, you know, I know a lot of mongrels are just duplicating weapons. Duplicating shit so they don't have to go out and do bunker missions.
Yo guys, how's it going? Hope you're all well and welcome to another episode here on the channel. Now in today's episode we're going to do something
YouTube gamer intro.
What if I told you that we can insure our personal weapons using the gun racks of our ships? Well, let's get stuck into it and I'll explain how. Alright guys, so before we explain step by step exactly how to insure these personal weapons, I just want to explain a little bit about what I think is going on here. So I do believe that CIG have implemented this feature. I don't think they fully optimized it yet, and potentially not even expected anyone to kind of discover it yet. I'm sure people have already, and I'm sure there's YouTube videos out there. I haven't seen any, so I thought I'd make one and kind of show you what it is and how to do it. And this was discovered by a community member of ours. I don't know if anyone else, as I said, has discovered it. I'm sure they probably have and just kind of maybe kept stum about it. But I do genuinely believe that there's nothing wrong going on here, and I definitely believe CIG have implemented it, and as I said, just not fully expected it to maybe be discovered at present. So basically what you can do is you can buy guns in game, you can buy guns on the pledge store. Now this is particularly good for the pledge store actually, because normally you'd buy a gun, say the Gemini, take it to a mission, and maybe lose it, and then you can't get it back again. Now you can actually buy the Gemini, you can buy the Gallant rifle, you know, you can go through and buy any of these guns, even the this Archangel gun here, you know, you can buy all of these and you'll be able to use them over and over and over again in the game. And I think this makes it really good, and I think this is going to actually help CIG store out, or the pledge store out as well. It will allow more people to go and buy these guns because it now makes the gun racks useful. So yeah, because now it does make those gun racks useful, I do genuinely believe that, you know, people are now not going to be afraid to use the guns that they've purchased in the pledge store. You know, there's going to be a lot of people out there that have bought these weapons and just
I don't know, like, I have a different mentality when it comes to all this equipment and stuff like that. I don't care if I lose gear. Like, gear is so easy to get. I understand people being upset that they lost something that they paid for, but it's not like it's removed from your account. You lost it temporarily. That's it. Yeah, like, it is so easy to get gear. That's why I'm always surprised when I come across haulers that are in sperm suits and they're like, oh, I don't want to lose my stuff. It's like, really? Like, the equipment, that the cost of the equipment is so cheap. It is so cheap to get equipment in this game. And then, you know, like, I understand people buying stuff from the subscriber store to, you know, for the convenience. But, you know, if you lose it, you lose it. Big deal. My C2 doesn't blow when I ram with my nose because it's an intended feature. Exactly, Blake. You know, spending so much in their cargo and they don't bother, you know, rolling with kit to be able to protect it. Well, here's the thing, Robert C. You never lose the gun. You just can't use it in the game until the next reset. That's it. You could buy these guns, like, not these skins, because that's the thing, is like, the Barium P8, for example, that's been shown right there. You can get that in a variety of different skins in the game, you know, at different shops. None of them have the red skin one, though. And that's the thing about this, is like, every single one of these weapons you can already get in game. It's just the skins are different. Dr. Mars, but we bought it over at Claimer a couple of days ago. Crew had every bit of equipment possible except weapons. Probably the more useful ones, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, they should be selling the skins and not the guns. Like, it doesn't bother me that they sell the guns. It doesn't bother me that they sell the armor. You know, eventually we'll get the ability to reclaim this shit. You know, but when players start wigging out about losing their stuff and going, oh, I paid real money for it and now it's gone, I can't use it in the game. It's like, okay, go use something else then. You know, like, my favorite thing to do to other players if they're wearing subscriber gear is to steal it from them, because I know the majority of them are so attached to it they cannot handle losing that stuff. I steal it from them and then I wear it in front of them, just to establish that I've taken their stuff from them and that the thing that they paid money for is now the thing that I am using. And the thing about that is that, you know, that player is going to freak out. They're going to, you know, go off. And I personally, I don't care about their reaction that much. It's just to hopefully make them realize one day just how ridiculous their behavior is. If only people could apply the skins to weapons and armors like we do on ships. Yeah. Alright, Slim Jim asks, so Letty, do you subscribe to the conspiracy theory that the events are scapegoats to why the servers are running like trash? No, I don't. the reason why the servers are running like shit is because they've added game code that bloody isn't optimized. It's as simple as that. And why are there so many events? CIG just wants to run events? Like, I don't know. Ask them. I personally, it doesn't bother me. You know, it's like one of those situations where it's like, all right, they decide to keep punishing us with events. You know, it's a punishment in my mind right now. It's like, you know, give us some stability. Maybe this was an experiment. You know, maybe they were going, all right, let's run it, you know, Invictus. And then all the new players who, you know, bought into the game will run an event for them straight away to see if we can retain them. You know, the marketing team is just completely disconnected from the actual game itself, and they're going, yeah, everything's working. And they've gone, all right, this is all about player retention. So if we run a popular event like Jumptown immediately after Invictus Week, we may retain those players and get, you know, capture them. But, you know, that's just a fucking crazy, like, that to me is more of a reason why they would do Jumptown than just, you know, pretty much trying to disguise that the servers are running like dog shit. Yeah, player retention with a PvP event. New player retention with a PvP event, Tumblr. New player retention. Well, they said that they're not doing one for 319.1, but they do plan on, well, they actually haven't planned on one for 320. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But once again, I don't care if they do. Yeah, like, where the game is now in comparison to, you know, December, nowhere near as bad, but fucking, man, like, the most frustrating part about 319 was the first couple of days where things were good. Things were working, we didn't have these problems, and then they turned on Invictus Week, and then it just goes to shit. What about your Jumptown money? That's okay, Slim Jim. Just take screenshots of it. Take screenshots of it, and you'll always have it there. And it'll never go down, never go away. Offloading this full C2 worth of barrel and then going into a 30k, man. Pain. We know. We actually, what was it, a couple of weeks ago. I'm just going to stop reacting to this video. I don't fucking care about it. Like, the insurance thing, it's a thing that people can do. Old mate talking about the pledge store, like this, I was watching this in the hopes that it would actually show me how to do it as opposed to 9 minutes of drivel. And we only got, what, a minute 48 in. Shows how interested I am in this. Alright. Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. No, last week. Yeah, it was last week. We hit a C2 full of barrel at SMO 18. SMO 18? No, 22. One of them. Anyway, we decided to dampen it in atmosphere, and we we're going to try and push it into space, but the pilot had other ideas, and we ended up bricking it in atmosphere, and it landed in this fucking valley. It was actually a pretty cool, like, crash landing. Like, we were expecting it to blow up, and it survived. And this thing was full of barrel. C2, 696 SU of cargo. And we get there, and we're starting to bloody, you know, we're trying to work out how we're actually going to get in. The boarding team's like there trying to work out how to get in because it's landed in a valley and the fucking, you know, sides are like this. You know, it's like a fucking proper V. Anyway, they managed to get on board. They cap old mate, that's on board. And then we're sitting there and we're like, alright, how the fuck are we going to get this cargo out? So we just start tossing the cargo out. I brought my M2 in. I'm like, we'll load this up and then we'll throw, you know, what we can fit onto the blues. We'll send the blues out afterwards. And if we need another ship, then, you know, we'll grab it. We'll just overload the M2 as well. It's one of those situations where this hit, like the hit was easy. The offloading the cargo was the most painful thing. It took us like 2.5 hours. And because of where the ship was bricked, we had real issues just transferring cargo around. So the first problem that we had was the ship's position was really shit. Like we couldn't get any of the, like if we opened the doors up, we couldn't get people in. Then the ship shifted a little bit, so our boarding team could get in there. They got in and they started doing their thing. Cap old mate, start throwing cargo out. We're looking at it and we're like, alright, how are we gonna bloody, you know, put this ship into a better position so that we can actually offload the cargo properly and do it easily without the ship, you know, moving around and blowing up. So I tried moving it with my Cutlass Blue, shifted it slightly, and then the ship snapped back and my Cutlass Blue blew up. So I came back in an M2. Meanwhile, the guys just got into the C2 and just started throwing boxes out, raiding piles. Anyway, land my M2 there. I start having, you know, game issues, bloody the game's wigging out on me, FPS issues and all that sort of stuff, so I decide to reboot my PC. During that time, the guys continue, you know, offloading from the C2, but they're pulling crates into the M2 and they're stacking them up there. Well, clients are seeing different things, and apparently at one point the C2 is there ramming the M2 and just constantly hitting it. Even though for some people they couldn't see that and it was stationary, and for others it's like, no, that thing is getting smashed right now. Next minute, M2 gets bricked. So we can't use that anymore, and we'd probably put about 100 SCU on that. So we're now pulling all the cargo off of that. But during this time, the guys who were pulling the cargo off, because of the angle that the C2's on, and them being inside and, you know, the jank between the clients, they end up, like a couple of them end up with tier 3 leg injuries. One had a tier 3 head injury, just like struggling just to move around the space. Anyway, they keep throwing boxes out, and then next thing, buddy, we bring an MSR in to start throwing boxes in there, and we're like, alright, we'll load up this MSR and then we'll see what else we can put cargo onto. And then the C2 fucking hard deaths. Sitting there. Stationary for some, but then one of the other guys was like, oh no, it was like moving around. So we're like, alright, we'll continue loading this MSR up. We'll keep pulling boxes off the, you know, what we can grab out of the C2. We brought a Caterpillar in. We don't land it at all. We don't fucking land the Caterpillar. And then we just start pulling boxes from the ground. And then we pull boxes from the M2. We went from a full C2, so 696 SCU, that we had taken intact, to 384 SCU that we could put. Like, this was in total between the MSR that we had there and a Caterpillar. Oh no, we sold it all. We sold what we got. But with a hit that should have been 696 SU of cargo, because of, you know, circumstances out of our control, you know, ships just blowing up because clients are seeing different things, we lost over 300 SCU of the cargo. So fucking annoying. And we spent hours, like, just fighting the servers to get to that point. Oh, 100% Don. Oh, John. When we can tow those ships, we were saying that, like, fuck, if we had an SRV right here, we'd just grab this ship and take it straight into space and just offload there. And just, you know, yeet the boxes out. Doesn't matter then. Yeah, the injuries were just consistent there, Blake. Yeah, Tumblr, you'll be able to quantum travel with the ship in tow. The conditions for the ship in tow, according to the last QA that they did about tractor beaming ships, was that shields had to be off. That was really it. Yeah, like, EG really needs to do something about that network code between clients and objects actually coming to a proper rest. Because what we're experiencing now is just unacceptable. Like, 384 SCU of barrel is still a good haul, but could have been 696. Oh, Tumblr, even if it's too slow to catch up to the big ships, all we just need to make the ship stationary and then we can move it somewhere else. So bricking a ship with an SRV present is more than enough use case to bring the SRV in. Well, Tokata, it depends if the ship has its shields online or not. According to CIG, the shields have to be off. So if the shields are on, you can't tractor beam. I wouldn't be surprised though that CIG introduces a condition where it's like you have to unlock something on the ship before you can actually tow it. Yeah, Tumblr, like 100%, they need to do something about self-destruct. Like, I don't care if distortion damage disables self-destruct and pauses the timer, as long as we have that ability there to disable a ship. And then just increase the claim times for ships that go into self-destruct as well, for, you know, not to discourage players from using it, but to make it clear that if you're using self-destruct, then you should have a really good reason for it. Yeah, I agree, Tumblr. Like, we miss using EMP and doing EMP suppression. I'm actually thinking about bringing distortion weapons back for hurricanes and Scorpiuses, just so that we have that ability to disable a ship. If the owner doesn't initiate self-destruct, we'll wait for it to slow down and then, you know, do the boarding so it's all done in gravity, because EVA boarding is shit. The Hornet with 3 ERJs and 2 lasers. How are you finding that? I heard that, like, the Hornet was... that there was a bug with the Hornet's acceleration, which actually made it competitive. Yeah. See, that's one of the things that I've always wanted to push Mongrel Squad in the direction of, is more team-based combat where compositions actually matter. Like, we use a composition for Piracy ops. Well, we used to use more of a composition, especially when EMP was viable. But like, you know, a team not just mono-boating the same ship, the same weapons, like, you know, teams running a composition where ships have, you know, people have specific roles in their ships and they perform specific jobs. I know, like, we've got groups out there doing that. But I want to see, like, that being emphasized more by CIG. Okay, so you'd have your Hornets. So what, do you break that up into 2 Hornets per glaive? So you roll around in a triad? Yeah, that's what I thought. So that gives you 2 maneuver groups. Bait with one, hammer with the other. I have no idea about that, John. One of the guys in chat might. Where he's bringing the shields down on the bigger ships, yeah. And if a glaive hits one of the lighter ships, then it just evaporates. See, that's one of the things that I actually like about, you know, that composition type of gameplay that people, you know, start trying to engage in, as well as, like, you start, you know, to pull RPG terms in, you start getting, you know, people trying to, we can't follow the triad because we don't have a healer class, but, you know, like tanking and DPS actually meaning something. The Super Hornet has a turret gunner. Yeah, well, that's one of the things that we looked at as well, is the, like, if we bring any ship that has a turret gunner, like, they're a dedicated Marine. Yeah, because its pilot can still, yeah, if you take the gunner out of the Super Hornet, the pilot can still control the turret guns. Yeah. I don't know, we might visit it, have a look at it ourselves and see how we can include it into our compositions. It's just one of those things now where it's like, the Super Hornet kind of just got utilized as a stepping stone to higher ships in the CCU chains. I do miss using the Hornet. Oh, dude. The Sabre is actually one of my favorite ships. Well, yeah, that's just it. Like the signature actually mattering on the saber. Yeah, as opposed to what it is now, and you know, just struggles to move. Loki, I owned a saber and for years and used to fly it in combat nearly exclusively, and then yeah, CIG just shat on it. And then one of the things that I came to the conclusion of is that unless I really need to use the ship all the time, paying real money for ships that are that cheap in game really isn't worth the money. So the saber will just be one of those ships that I'll earn in game. Like, I like the Hornet. I'm not that, you know, I like the Hornet, but it's not on, you know, my radar for something that I'd always be looking to use. But I do like, you know, especially now in 3.19, now that we can pull weapons off ships and that ballistic guns, you can pull it off a ship, change it for one, you know, that's full of ammo. You know, it means that you can use ballistic weapons, and as long as you've got spare, you know, ballistic weapons of that same type, you're good to go. You can pull off the ball turret. Oh yeah, and put the size 4 gun there. Can you do that with the Buccaneer? Because that was one of the features of the Buccaneer, was that you could either have the turret or the size 4 gun on top. Imagine if you could do it with the Hornet, you could do it with the Buccaneer. What's my thoughts on some ships only being available to be bought in game? I'm indifferent to it, to be honest. Like, I'm fine with it, but it doesn't bother me if ships can be bought in game or out of game. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's CIG's funding model. But if, you know, they want to make certain ships exclusive, where you can't buy it out of the game, that's fine. Like the Lightning is a good example of this. I thought we could buy the Vulture in game now. Or is that one of the ships that was still left off the list? All in-game ships need a 0 added to their price. Just watch the player base have a meltdown. All Hornets with ADB4s ripping apart a Connie. It's impressive just watching a Redeemer doing it. So seeing like 8 ADBs from different angles just tearing a ship apart would just be cool. It's interesting that they left it out. I thought they would have tried keeping it there. Or, you know, put it into the stores. But then again, like, has anybody said anything on Spectrum? Like, I'm surprised that it hasn't been brought up. Everybody bought it. Salty Mike made a video on it. That doesn't surprise me. Although, like, what was it? They had a CCU for the Vulture for ages. That pretty much was like $20 off. It's broke a bit. How did they break it, Stoney? Cartridges fly away, don't like. Oh god. Those cartridges are a pain in the ass, man. Like, I don't understand how they made it so hard, considering that they've got FPS weapons in the game where you can fucking reload, and it really should just be that, a reload animation. Like, how hard, CIG? How fucking hard? Still getting the 0.00 SCU bug. Interesting. Like, does that mean like you can't salvage at all, or is it infinite salvage? Because I've heard some people like, oh, it means infinite salvage, and others are saying, nah, can't do it at all. I think it might be client based. Oh man. Just gonna come across to here while we're drawing off. Roll through Spectrum. Infinite Salvage is the one aiming two lasers at the same spot, so I heard that one was supposed to be like crossing the beams. Zero means no salvage. Alright. Undone. I watched Salty's video and someone commented that Mongrel Squad as an org has dramas going on. Hope everything is sweet, mate. Yeah, like, it's not something that I hide from. We had a group break away from Mongrel Squad at the start of the month. It started with a small portion of them not agreeing with the way that I was doing things with the org, and they decided to pick up and leave. And then more people ended up leaving because they wanted to go play with their friends that had left. There was a little bit of shit going on in the background in terms of lies being spread, but pretty much I didn't move to engage with any of that. I just focused on the people that were still in Mongrel Squad, and we're still doing that now. So, you know, our active NA group was, I wouldn't say it was gutted, but we did lose a lot of members in the NA active group. So recruitment's closed for Mongrel Squad at the moment. We're going through restructuring and updating our plans for recruitment. And yeah, like, to be in an organization and not expect this stuff to happen is kind of, you know, like, wishful thinking. It's not that I didn't anticipate that this wasn't going to happen. It's just, you know, I wasn't sure who or, you know, was going to cause it, how it was going to happen, or anything like that. At the end of the day, you know, my mentality is that we're all here to play a video game. You should always pursue the fun that you're looking for in a game. And if you're a part of a group and you're not having fun with them anymore, you know, voice your opinions, but if it becomes clear that the group isn't going to conform to what you want, then move on. And, you know, go make the group that you want. That's got blackjack and hookers and all that sort of stuff. You know, find the fun that you're looking for. I've always, you know, been of that opinion. So, you know, these people who decided to leave because they disagreed with the way that I was doing things, it's like, you know, well, good luck with what you guys are doing. Unfortunately, some people in the background decided to try and do some character assassination. But yeah, Mongrel Squad, we're still here, we're still pushing forward, still out doing piracy, bro. Like, we just got less people. A little bit less than what we normally do. And yeah. A lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of changes, but the restructuring has it's kind of invigorated you know, the direction that we're going in for myself. The other side of it is that the state of Star Citizen is shit, which hasn't helped, you know, morale or attitudes, because, you know, the state of the game, you know, causing that many issues for people, you know, emotions and are going to be a lot more tense. You know, people are going to be a bit more on edge, you know, and they're going to want solutions to their problems as well. And the fact of the matter is that some people are going to feel like, you know, they're going to find what they're looking for by leaving. That's okay. It's normal. And yeah, we're not imploding to the... well, I don't even know what's going on with med runners. Like, I'm still surprised that there's people that have issues with them. Like, you know, as I was saying before, guys, you know, like, if you don't like the way that things are going in your organization, you know, you can try and change things, but if you're not part of the leadership chain and things don't change the way that you want, you're not doing yourself any favors by sticking around. You know, pick up, move on. It's okay. Yeah, like, the problem is in an organization like Med Runners, where they just had it open recruitment and their goal was to just pull as many people in, you're going to end up with a lot of people that have ideas of how things should happen and not be in the position to be able to influence or act on those decisions and ideas. You know, like, realistically, an org lives or dies based on two components. One is the leadership and the other one is the culture of the membership base. So, you know, like, if the leadership is able to, you know, keep pushing themselves forward, the org may, you know, like, get a lot smaller, but the org doesn't die. That said, if the culture of the membership of the org is completely different to the, you know, the way that the leadership wants, it will always be conflict, and then the org will die that way. If leadership doesn't want to continue, org dies. If culture of the membership base, you know, isn't lining up with what the leadership wants or is aiming for, org dies. Ever actually tried to justify pad ramming to you? There's some back and forth on how to monetize. Some just want it in-game payments. Some are actually money, like real money. Yeah. Holy shit. If they're trying to, like, angle for real money, I'm pretty sure CIG will clamp down on that. don't, you know, like, I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I'm pretty confident that you can't charge real money for in-game services like that. And if COG found out, they would shut it down pretty quick. Like, if they were going to try and monetize anything like that, they would go down the route of content creation. And yeah, that's the other problem. Like, we don't know who's, like, if that's an actual med runners thing or not. Like, it's quite clear that there are people who are upset with the way that med runners have gone and have treated them, and they're doing what they can to do character assassination on them. And, you know, like, it's their word against what somebody else is saying. And because med runners is such a large organization, and, you know, like, we talk about med runners as an organization. Who's the leader of med runners? Who's the organizational frontman? You know, who's the face of med runners? That's one of the things where, you know, like, as much as I wasn't a big fan of it, I kind of pulled myself back into the limelight for Mongrel Squad because, you know, as we were becoming more of a name with Piracy, there needed to be somebody out the front that represented the organization, that needed to be the face for it, so that when people wanted to, you know, go, hey, that's Mongrel Squad over there, or, you know, like, let's go talk to Mongrel Squad, they at least know who they're talking to, who they're dealing with. Whereas in an organization like Med Runners, like, who's their frontman? Who's their, you know, PR contact? Who's the person that you go, that you look at and you go, oh, yeah, that's Med Runners. And that's the thing, is like, they're big and they're infamous and they're well known, but, you know, like, I don't know who their fucking frontman is. Well, there you go. No spokesperson, no damage control. So you picked a guy who looks like he's from Black Sails. Hey man, that's just a coincidence. I'm growing my beard out to hide my fat face, getting all fat. They probably do have a CEO, but I don't know how the leadership structure is. I don't know, like, how, you know, they've set themselves up. But, you know, like, for Mongrel Squad, you know, I figured I'm the leader, should be the front man. In the past, it was one of the senior officers, and, you know, like, it was kind of clear that they weren't exactly the best choice for it. Yes, side effects. I saw that apology to, was it the apology to Greasy, Khaleesi? And I'm just like, alright, this doesn't look genuine. It just looks like you guys are trying to be a corporate entity, and it's like, you know, you're playing a video game, you're dealing with people, like, the Care Bear orgs do this for roleplay without having the need for officer roles and spokesperson. But the actual known orgs do it for real. Oh, when the actual known orgs do it for real. With a real need for it. Yeah, like, pirate orgs get accused of stream sniping a lot. You know, using exploits and all that sort of stuff. Having a face that can sit there and talk and say, you know, like, we don't do that. You can trust me because you can see my face. I'm being genuine. Like, whilst I like what med runners are doing, I don't think what's going on with them would be worthy of being put into Star Citizen's lore. I don't even think half of the stuff that anybody's done yet would be worth putting into Star Citizen's lore. I like to think though, like later in the future, that yeah, we do have that. Mongrel Squad, not concerned about that sort of stuff. Our lore is, you know, pretty much our YouTube channel is the lore of Mongrel Squad. And I do want to try and push towards more of that as well. I want to push more into the storytelling of, you know, the campaigns that we go on and all that good stuff. Voidy dude needs to be in... yeah, 100%. Dude, he'll just write his own. Like, he's really good at storytelling. He's really good at storytelling. He'd be fucking having a blast during Jumptown as well. I'm looking forward to seeing his Jumptown videos. I did watch the last one. I know some of you guys have actually asked about putting Voidy's videos onto the reaction streams, and I kind of want to dial back on doing that too often. Like, primarily because he puts a lot of time and effort into his videos, and whilst it's good advertising and gets feedback and, you know, a good reaction, I don't want to be reacting to his content all the time because I feel like it's kind of stealing, you know, that content. Ironic coming from a person who plays as a pirate in a video game, but I don't want to be, you know, constantly watching his content to pull views, even though we won't get as many views on this stuff. I'd rather you guys go and watch it. I'd rather you guys watch his stuff on his channel than come watch his stuff on this one. Blake, I'm pretty sure the best that we would get is that we you know, pretty much destroyed a posing, like a group posing as the overlords. Alright. Unfortunately, I was going to look at something on Star Citizen, but we got into a good conversation there. Unfortunately, though, I got to call it. I got to jump off. I've got to get going in about 15 minutes to go and pick up my kids from school. So, yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for coming along for this stream. Sorry about it starting an hour or so later than usual and it not being on the same day. My work schedule is different. It's been varying a lot more. So some Wednesdays I'm working now, some I'm not. Next week I'm not working on Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to do it at the time that I usually do it at, which is normally 1 AM for me. But because I got the day off, I'll be home. All the kids are at school and daycare, so pretty much have the house to myself. So I'll be able to do streaming then. Appreciate all of you guys coming along, having a chat, having a, you know, laugh. What was that guy's name again? Mophead. Go and subscribe to his channel. After I'm done with this stream, I'm actually going to jump onto my personal YouTube channel and subscribe to him as well, because that shit is funny and I want to see more of it. Alright, thanks everybody for coming along. Catch us all next week.